Good morning, guys. Today is a Monday morning, my favorite day of the week. I'm not joking. I actually really like Mondays because I don't get to work much on the weekend and I really look forward to going to work. So anyway, today is one of those days though when we've got appointments and other obligations I have to do, so I won't be trading. Much of a drag as that is, today's a great day to talk about something really important, and that is money management for traders. I don't mean in your trade, I mean in your life. Talking specifically to those of you who could see yourself or would like to see yourself going full-time sometime in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm going to talk about a number of things today that I think are absolutely essential that you do if you want to succeed as a full-time trader. Now, when we talk about trading, people always tell you need to treat your trading like a business. And you do, because trading is a business. But beyond that, you got to treat your whole life like you're going into business, because you are. And those of you who have been in business before will understand this. There are a few things that you really need to prepare yourself for when you go into business. And the number one thing, really, is to reduce your running expenses as much as possible. Because when you go into business, when you start a business, when you buy a business, there'll be times when you don't make any money. And you probably won't make very much at the start. Look at myself, for instance. I've been in business. I've been self-employed pretty much my entire life, and the way that I live compared to the way my friends live, as a balance from our means to the way we live, it's very different. A lot of people who work on a salary structure all their expenses according to that salary, so that I'm going to have X amount per month, so then I can have this and this and this, and then I have X number of dollars left over per month. That's the way a lot of my friends live, and a lot of people my age in general. That car is $500 a month. That car is $700 a month. My mortgage is $1,000 a month. My boat's $1,000 a month. So I've got an extra $1,000 left over each month. Well, you know, I could probably trade in my four-wheeler and get a new side-by-side this year and still have a little bit left over for emergencies. You can't live that way whenever you're going out to day trade for a living. And really, if you want to have financial freedom, you got to stay away from that in general. On top of that, a lot of people now are saying, oh, my house is worth like almost half again or double what it was before, so now I can go and get a line of credit and buy a whole bunch more stuff I can't afford. That's the way of the world these days, and that's the way the marketing is. The thing is, when you're going out to trade for a living, you need to have the least amount of running costs possible, so you don't have as much pressure on you when you start to go full time. On top of that, you realistically need 6 months to ideally a year of your expenses set aside, so that you don't have any pressure to make money in your first year. Now, I say that with quotes because you're going to have tons of pressure. I've been through this myself. I traded pretty much full-time for several years before I sold my company, but whenever the income from that went away, there was some more pressure there, for sure. But you push through it carefully, and it all works out. But if you don't have that cushion, it would be extremely hard, and your odds of success would go way down. Now, most people who wind up trading full-time, and probably a lot of people out there like you, have built up money over the years from either a career or being in business, and you need to have that. And the thing is, once you start trading for income, you don't want that nest egg to go down. So that's where the pressure comes in. It doesn't matter if you have enough to last you for 5 years or 10 years. You don't want to see that nest egg go down, so you still feel pressure from day one. The difference is if you have enough there, your odds of your trading catching up to your lifestyle is a lot better. Now, most of my friends, who I know make a lot less than I do, have got 2 new cars, one for each of them, and all their toys are new. They've got all the toys, they've got the boats, the snowmobiles, the side-by-sides, all kinds of stuff, and it's all new or a couple years old, and it's all owned by the bank. Let's take a look at what I drive. This is my wife's car. It's a 2017 RAV4 Platinum. Bought it actually brand new, and it's free and clear. It's a Toyota, it never breaks, it's reliable, and it was kind of expensive, but it holds its value really well. This is my daily driver right here. 1999 Suburban. I bought this car about 12 years ago for $1,500 from a rich guy in Toronto who drove an S-Class around town and only ever took this to his cottage and back for the whole time he had it since new. The air conditioning didn't work, it needed a set of tires. There was a couple other little problems that I could fix myself. I fixed all of it myself. Super low miles. Even now it has low mileage. And I love it. I don't ever want to get rid of it. All I have to do is try and keep the body from rusting out because we're up in Canada. And this is my fun car, a 94 Mustang GT convertible. These are probably one of the least desired Mustangs that there are. However, they're my favorite of the modern Mustangs. I remember when they came out when I was in high school and I wanted one. I bought it several years ago now for $3,000. Low miles, impeccably maintained, still the same way, except the air conditioning didn't work and the clutch was getting a bit worn. I replaced both of those myself. Now these things are going for 2 and 3 times that. It's been absolutely trouble-free. It's cheap. It's easy to work on. It does the job in the summertime, drive around with the top down with the kids. It's great. I love it. And I've got the toys. We've got a boat. We've got a snowmobile, a few four-wheelers. And all of them are bought used with cash and are very well maintained and in good condition. And they do me quite well. I never want for anything more. Well, except for a much bigger boat, but we don't have the water around here for it, so it's not an issue. The net result of this is my monthly running costs. Discretionary costs are pretty low. Now, my monthly expenses are quite high because we're a household of 6 people with 4 kids. 3 of them are teenagers. We live in a big house, costs a lot to heat. Property taxes are ridiculous where I live. Now, I don't have the fanciest cars and toys amongst all the people I know, but all mine are paid for. I don't know anything on anything, and I've always tried my best to live that way. And I think that is super important if you're going into business or if you're going to be a trader, because you really need those running costs as low as possible. Down the road, when things get more steady, you save up the money and then you buy the thing you want with cash, and then you never worry about the payment on it. If things break from time to time, I have to get them fixed, right? Now, the Toyota, nothing ever breaks on a Toyota, really, but the other two, the parts are cheap, they're easy to get, and I can do it myself. And I really think that learning how to work on a car is super important for just about anybody. The newer cars is much more difficult to do that. That's why I like the older ones. I find it kind of therapeutic, and I enjoy it for the most part. But it certainly saves me a lot of money. Now, another giant elephant as far as expenses goes, I'm going to sound like your dad here. Just sorry, but most of you guys are over 25, so you realize that your parents actually knew a couple things. Credit cards. You need a credit card. Everybody needs a credit card. Maybe even a couple of them. I get points of different kinds, Aeroplan, Air Miles, etc. But I use them as a charge card. Some of you will remember what a charge card is. I don't know if you can even get them anymore, except maybe Amex, I'm not sure. A charge card is not a credit card. You charge to that card, and at the end of the month, all those charges are due. Bang. And if you ever had a charge card, you would see that if you didn't pay them, your interest was like 30% or something absolutely crazy. But having a charge card allows a simple, easy way to pay for everything. It will get you points on things, and it gave you that security if there was ever anything fraudulent happened. It was the card company's problem, not yours. I treat my credit cards like charge cards. Everything is paid off at the end of the month. Period. No exceptions. In years past, if there was ever something came up that made it super tight to pay the bill, I would sacrifice whatever that other thing was I wanted, or a place I wanted to go, and pay that bill off. Never, ever carry a balance, because if you carry a balance, first of all, that's another monthly expense you got to worry about. Second of all, everything you buy is going to wind up costing you double what it cost. If it takes you a couple of years to pay some things off, it's going to be double. Simple as that. It's just math. Again, this is advice for financial freedom in general. People ask me in the comments, what do you do with all your money? Because they see that I live fairly simply. They wonder, well, what do you spend it all on? Well, who says you have to spend it on anything? And now, maybe I'm fortunate. I like old cars. I don't need the finest things to be happy. I'd much rather put that money away because I'm self-employed. I've always been self-employed. As a trader, you will be self-employed. And what happens if something happens to you and you can't trade anymore? You don't have a pension, right? I don't have a pension. I have a nice nest egg, but I don't have a pension that's going to pay no matter what, an X amount over so many years, whatever. So anything that I don't use in my daily life or give away, I pile it up and put it there for a rainy day and for when I'm not here to look after my family. Simple as that. I feel a lot better knowing that if something happens to me tomorrow, everybody's going to be fine financially than I would driving a new S-Class around. Speaking of that, I do have a bit of a weakness for the older S-Classes, and so far I have, resisted that because I don't feel like working on my car every day. But anyway, you get the point. I'm not saying you have to live like a pauper and scrimp and save and never buy anything nice and always have less than your friends do, anything but. But if you want to make a serious go of this to doing it full time, you better make sure that you have your financial house in order. Anything to reduce your stress and reduce your expenses, at least when you're starting out. And maybe I'm an extreme example, but really, I think if you want to have real financial freedom, you don't need to live within your means. You should live below your means. And hey, nobody's perfect. I blow money sometimes. My weakness is camera gear and musical instruments. I haven't bought any new instruments since I quit gigging. In fact, I've sold a lot of my amplifiers and things. Cameras, well, that's a bottomless pit. Anyway, hopefully that was an interesting video for you guys. Hope you take it to heart if you're thinking about doing this seriously. Questions and comments always welcome down there. Grab my cheat sheet and newsletter, daytradernextdoor.com. Thank you so much for watching as always, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.